What's up you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another GoPro quick tip video, and today we're looking at GoPro presets. Now if you guys don't know what GoPro presets are, don't worry, I got you covered. I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to be creating our own static preset on this channel together today. First, let's roll the intro. If you don't know what a preset is, GoPro first released presets onto their cameras with the GoPro Hero 8 Black. That's when they got presets out as a new feature. Presets essentially are basically just shortcuts for your setting, where basically you can go into your camera, set it up in a particular way, save that setting as a shortcut, and it'll help you shoot in different scenarios in different shooting modes. Now, I know this seems a little bit more complicated than it actually is. Let me explain. First thing you want to do is you want to power on your GoPro. Now at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a particular preset that your GoPro has already been set to. When you tap on it, you're going to enter your preset menu. As you guys can already see, my camera has been set up with a bunch of different presets inside this preset menu. The first one is epic, then you have selfie, you have standard, you have activity, you have cinematic, you have slow motion and POV. So these are basically presets. Now inside each and every one of these presets are a bunch of settings that I have dialed in. These settings are basically all saved under a particular heading. Each heading is a preset. Every time I want to change the mode in which I'm filming in, for example, if I'm out and about and I want to film myself and I want to talk to the camera, I'm going to hit the selfie preset. Camera is immediately going to jump into the selfie mode and it's going to be ready to shoot my face. After I do that, while I'm out and about, if I see a certain moment or I see a shot that I think will look really cinematic, all I got to do is turn on the camera, hit the cinematic preset. My camera is now set up to shoot cinematic video. All I gotta do is hit the record button and I'm good to go. This is what you call presets. This is a feature that GoPro introduced to make your and my life a lot easier when you're out shooting with these tiny little cameras. Okay, so when you get your GoPro for the first time and you turn it on for the absolute first time after you charge up the battery and install the SD card, you're gonna see there are gonna be a bunch of presets already pre-made by GoPro for you. Now what you can actually do is you can hit the pencil icon on the right hand side of the preset, adjust any of the settings inside of this particular preset, or you can do something else, which is go right down, right to the bottom of your preset menu, and you're going to see a little plus icon at the bottom of the screen. This is where you create a whole new preset, and that can be custom made just by you. Now presets are pretty much a standard on all GoPro cameras. You have them even on the GoPro Max, which I'm filming on right now. Any of the newer generation GoPro cameras have presets as an option inbuilt. Today what we're going to do is we're going to be creating a cinematic preset, and I'm going to show you exactly how I set up this tiny GoPro that I have to shoot cinematic video when I'm out and about, and all the shots that I get out at sea are shot mainly in the cinematic preset. So now the first thing you want to do is you want to power on your GoPro and hit the preset icon at the bottom of the screen. Now once you're inside the preset menu, you're going to scroll all the way down till you see the plus icon, and you're going to hit the plus icon. Once you hit the plus icon, you're going to get three options on your screen. You can toggle between video, looping, slow motion. We're going to be making a cinematic preset. We're going to stick to standard video. Now as you guys can see, you are officially inside your preset menu and the GoPro is asking you to choose your settings. The first setting that we're going to go and toggle is the resolution and the frame rate. Since this is going to be cinematic video, I want to get the highest possible resolution on this camera, and I also want to get a particular frame rate that I'm happy with. We're going to choose our resolution as 5K, which is the entire sensor of the GoPro camera, and we're going to choose our frame rate as 24 frames per second. Now the whole point of having a cinematic preset is so that you do not get the GoPro look out of this camera, and you can actually match this camera with bigger DSLR and mirrorless camera. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to remove that GoPro fisheye look. So the next setting you're going to choose is your lens. You're going to go into the lens view and select linear. Next setting that you want to toggle on or off is your hyper smooth right under your lens setting. Cinematic video has to look really creamy and really crispy. I want the maximum hyper smooth available on this GoPro camera. So if you're on the Hero 9 Black, you should have the option to choose hyper smooth boost, and that's what I like to go for. I want the most stable footage. It's only when it's stable and it looks good that you can actually even call it cinematic. So I'm going to get the maximum stabilization out of this camera, so I'm going to choose boost. Now for the rest of the main settings, we're just going to leave them untouched. We don't want to schedule a capture, we don't want a duration, we don't want hindsight on, we don't want a timer, we don't want any of that. So I'm just going to leave them the way they are, and we're going to scroll down to the Pro Tune settings, which is really important. If you want to get the most cinematic look out of your GoPro, if you want to match your GoPro with your bigger cameras, you definitely want to go in and adjust your Pro Tune setting. You want to be the one who's in control of the camera, so you can match this with other cameras and create amazing videos. First option that we're going to select under the Pro Tune settings is your bitrate. bitrate and you want high bitrate. The reason why I choose high bitrate is basically because you get a lot more data into your video editor. You're going to get maximum flexibility in editing in post. Next setting you're going to choose is your shutter speed. Now what I like to do with cinematic video is basically follow the 180-degree shutter rule. What that basically means is whatever frame rate you're shooting at, you want to double the shutter speed. So if I'm shooting at 24 frames per second, my shutter speed should be 1/48. This is basically just a standard in the industry. You double your shutter speed to your frame rate and you get the adequate motion blur that your eyes are used to seeing. For example, my hand is moving right here. You can see a little bit of blur in it. That's because I've dialed in my shutter speed. The next setting that you're going to be seeing on your camera is white balance, and just for this part of the video right now, we're going to leave it at auto. Don't worry, we don't leave our white balance at auto when we shoot cinematic video, but for right now, we leave it at auto. I'm going to show you what to do with white balance at the end of this video. The next setting that you guys can see is your ISO minimum and your ISO maximum. With respect to ISO, what I like to do on any of my GoPros is keep the minimum ISO to the minimum value that's allowed on your camera, that's 100, and the maximum ISO to 800. There's a reason why I do this. ISO is basically your camera sensor's sensitivity to light. What you have to basically do with ISO is you have to find a little midpoint on your camera where your camera performs well. You're just trying to find a balance. I've noticed GoPros with very high ISOs don't perform the best, so I like to keep it around 800. The setting you want to adjust within your Pro Tune is your sharpness. GoPros tend to over sharpen. What I like to use in GoPros is medium sharpness. So now the next setting is a personal preference. It's about GoPro color, whether you want to keep it on GoPro color or you want to choose flat color. Ideally, if you're somebody who color corrects your videos and you're very heavy into editing, you want to go for flat. If you're not, you can just choose GoPro colors. Now the last two settings are your audio settings. I keep raw audio off, and I also keep wind reduction, the wind setting, completely off. Now why I do this is because when you're shooting action sports, I think the wind setting is fantastic. We're not shooting action. This is a cinematic preset. And for anything cinematic, you definitely want to use an external mic. Just choose an external mic, put on a dead cat on top of it, and we're good to go. So I keep both of these options completely off. Under the last tab of your settings, you have the ability to choose your shortcut. Those shortcuts that I like to keep on my screen is the lower left, I'm going to choose my lens. On the lower right, I'm going to choose white balance. This is where white balance comes back into play, and we'll talk about that in just a second. On the upper right, I choose my shutter speed. Upper right, I'm going to choose hyper smooth. Now we've chosen the boost mode of hyper smooth on this, but the boost mode does crop in a little bit more than your standard digital lens that you've selected. Sometimes you don't want that extreme crop, so I reduce that. I'll come down to hyper smooth on instead of hyper smooth boost. So you want to be able to toggle that in post as well. Okay, so your camera is now finally set up. You hit the check icon on the top right hand side of your screen and you're going to see that your GoPro asks you to name your new preset. I already have a cinematic preset on my camera, so this tutorial was basically to show you guys what my cinematic settings are and to help you guys create a preset along with me. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to name it custom, and that's what we're going to leave it as. And now as you guys can see, I have a custom preset and we've just jumped into the custom preset on my camera. Now as you guys can see, we have all 4 shortcut settings and the custom preset already selected. The camera is now set up to shoot cinematic video. Now let's talk about white balance and why I keep it on the home screen. White balance is basically something that will help you adjust the colors and the look of your image. Now white balance is going to change according to the time of day that you're actually filming at. If you're filming outside and there's a large amount of sunlight, you want to shoot in daylight white balance, something close to 5000 Kelvin or 5500 Kelvin. So you want to keep adjusting the white balance basis where you're shooting. If you're shooting indoors, your white balance changes. So white balance is something that you definitely want to set up on your GoPro camera. Now I have another video coming up explaining white balance, so stay tuned for that. And until then, you can continue to just keep your white balance on auto or on native, which is going to give you a lot more flexibility in post. You guys are done. We have finally set up our GoPro. We've created a new preset, which is a cinematic preset. We have named it custom. If you have to create any other presets on your GoPro cameras, the procedure is identical. The settings will vary basis what you're trying to shoot, but this is GoPro presets. This is how you set up your camera. This is how you create a new preset. Now don't worry, I have a bunch of presets on my GoPro, and I am coming up with the GoPro best settings video, the settings that I like to choose at all times. All the presets that I've created on my camera, I'm going to break them down for you and tell you why I choose each setting. So stay tuned for that. That's a video for the future. Thank you for watching another GoPro quick tip. It's been fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification, because there's going to be a lot more GoPro quick tips on this channel, along with a lot more tech videos and maritime vlogs and a lot more gaming as well. So we have it all on this channel. Definitely stay tuned for more. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.